Hey guys, it's me. The name's Muhammad Ibrahim. You probably don't know me because I wasn't exactly on YouTube before this. I wasn't on YouTube until someone told me to go out and face the challenges head on and make a YouTube video. And that someone is Iman Gadhzi. Alright, so before I start, I got to tell you this. I'm not some editing whiz, and I won't be able to neatly cite sources by adding clips into this video, and I won't be able to put giant subtitles or something like that. But the thing is, when the challenge came out, I really wanted to join in. And I had to do this. I had my exams and I didn't have the time, and I just had to get into this. So maybe you won't have some neat dopamine filling clips continuously appearing on the screen. And maybe that's a good thing, because our life is already so filled with dopamine. It's time we reduced it a bit. And you may have noticed that the camera quality isn't exactly that good. And I am reading from a script, which I wrote myself. But I'm only doing this because I had to do that. In such a short time period, I had no other choice. So alright, let's get into the video. Iman Gadhzi. My relationship with Iman Gadhzi isn't special or amazing. I'm not some OG fan who's been with him since day one and followed everything he's done. I'm not some special snowflake. I'm just another guy, another one of his million subscribers. Iman Gadhzi. Who is he to me? He's just another guy. Just like me. He wasn't special. He wasn't born with some supernatural talent. He wasn't a prodigy. He wasn't a precocious child. But what he is an example. You see, before Iman Gadhzi came along, I had beliefs. Limiting beliefs. I believed that money was impossible. That it was some elusive resource that was only reserved for the certain few. That getting rich quick was only a thing of dreams, and that the rich people were the ones who had gotten their money by cheating and they'd stolen their money. Then Iman Gadhzi came into my life and shattered all of these beliefs. He did not just tell me, he showed me that getting rich was not some false dream. Getting rich quick was not an impossible reality. Here was someone standing in front of me who was just like me. He wasn't born special. He wasn't lucky or gifted. He was what all of us are, just another person. So how did he get so rich? How can someone who is just like us gain a net worth of $25 million, gain millions of followers and subscribers, and numerous other achievements? I was asking the same question. What is it about him that made him get to where he is? This question has led me deeper into Iman's life. Now you may or may not know, Iman has been recording his life for a long time. About 7 whole years. And if you look into some of his older videos, you'll find something. And that something is the first quality that makes him a millionaire. And that is conviction. If you study his life closely, you'll see that he always knew he'd be rich. He always knew he'd be a millionaire. Of course, he didn't know exactly how he'd do it. But he knew that he would be a millionaire. He didn't know exactly what path he'd take. But he knew that his destination was one of wealth. And he got there. And you can see this trait in other rich people too. I mean, Steve Jobs, when he was young, he told people that he'd be a billionaire one day too. And he did become one, didn't he? So that's the first trait that made Iman Gadhzi rich. And his conviction. He always believed he was going to be rich. And he did. And you can too. But what else? Simply believing you're going to be rich isn't going to get you anywhere. What else does he have that made him so wealthy? Now, one thing you can notice about him is that he is constantly working on himself. And this next trait comes in two parts. And the first part is self-awareness. You see, at the Greek oracle of Delphi, there used to be written an age-old wisdom. It read, "Know thyself." To begin improving ourselves and progress financially and in all other aspects, we need to know what we're doing right and we need to know what we're doing wrong. And anyone who takes a look at Iman Gadhzi's life can easily tell that he practices self-awareness. He does this in many ways. You can see him talking about journaling, about how he wrote everything down. He practices meditation and, largest of all, his YouTube channel, where he literally records his every move, so he can always evaluate where he's standing and where he needs to go. Now, the second part of his constant compounding improvement is something called self-improvement. I want you to go and take a look at Iman Gadhzi's YouTube channel. You'll find out that Iman's not just a finance guy. He's not just talking about money and business. He's talking about how to be a better man. He's talking about the problems society is facing. He's talking about going to the gym, journaling, reading, dopamine detoxing, and improving your life in every sphere of life, not just finance. And this is something that you don't see many other rich people do. They succeed in the financial sphere, but they are not so good overall in life because they are failing in all the other spheres. You must be completely successful to be a complete man. This is something that Iman Gadhzi understands. But all of this is outside of work. Evaluating yourself, having conviction and confidence. What about the actual work itself? What qualities has Iman Gadhzi developed over there? Even a light look at his life can give you the answer to this. And the answer is focus and discipline. You can easily see that he's a man focused on his work. He talks about it himself. He cuts out all distractions, social media, DMs, notifications, nothing. Discipline means that he does what he has to do. He gets the work done. And you can see that in his videos. He talks about monk mode. And monk mode is something that he does for long periods of time. For about 6 months, he's completely focused. And this gets a lot of work done. And this simple technique helps Iman Gadhzi get really, really far. But you don't have to do monk mode. There are many other ways, many other effective ways to reach discipline and focus too. Alright, let's get on to the next trait. What other qualities could have made a normal man like you and me into a multi-millionaire? And the next quality you see is vigilance and perspicacity. You see, while you and me are sleeping around, not caring about what goes on, Iman is out there watching, studying carefully what's happening. Take any of his videos and you'll see that when he's presented with the same scenarios as us, he takes time to notice things that we don't. He keeps an eye open for opportunities that will make him more money and more and more and more. And does this mean he has some special trait he was born with that us normal people can't? No. We can easily develop this trait. In fact, we can start working on this right now. From now on, focus on what's happening. Focus on what's happening to society, and most importantly, focus on how money is being transferred. So the next time, you can use that information in a way that the money is being transferred to you instead of from you. And you can see this trait in other millionaires too. You can see Andrew Tate talking about how you should be aware of how money is leaving you so you can make money in the same way. Now, the next quality of Iman Gadhzi that makes him a millionaire is a very obvious one, and it's something that he talks about in a lot of his videos, and that is absorption of knowledge. In simple terms, this means that Iman is always learning. He understands that learning isn't something you do in school or in college, but to be successful, you have to learn 24/7. Anything you can, and as much as you can. He reads books all the time and has probably read hundreds of books. And through these books, he gains the experience of hundreds of different people without having to go through the suffering that they did to get their knowledge. As Otto van Bismarck said, only a fool learns from his own mistakes. Wise people learn from the mistakes of others. And this is exactly what Iman Gadhzi practices. So while you and me are scrolling mindlessly on TikTok or Instagram, numbing our minds, Iman is out there learning all day, every day. So I would say it's well enough time that we learn something from this. And the next time you're free, instead of going on Insta, instead of arguing on Twitter, instead of scrolling on TikTok, you go out there and you do something productive. You go out there, you read a book, or you learn a skill, or you take a course, anything in which you absorb knowledge. Okay, so now we've listed a bunch of his traits. But what's the centerpiece? What is the driving force? What is the fuel that he uses to push through? And the answer to this is in two words: meaning and purpose. You see, from a very young age, Iman had definitive meaning and purpose in his life. And that was retiring his mom. He grew up with a single mother, and he knew that his whole purpose in life was to get her out of poverty and to get her to have a good life. And that's the main difference between him and a loser. Because when faced with great problems, the loser would quit. But Iman would be forced to go on because his meaning and purpose is just too great for him to quit. And since he's achieved his original meaning and purpose, perhaps it has changed now. I would say now his aim is to expose the matrix or the puppet masters, if you would call them. But it doesn't matter because he still has a meaning and purpose that is driving him forward. But the point is, if you have an important enough purpose, you will drive through any hardship, you will drive through any adversity you may face, and eventually you are bound to succeed. So if you haven't already, go out there, self-reflect, and do whatever it takes to find your meaning and to find your purpose. That was it, folks. Those traits are the chemical secret to Iman's success. Now I've laid it out for you in open and easy terms. Conviction combined with self-awareness and growth, bound by focus and discipline, constantly learning, and fueled by a strong meaning and purpose, Iman Gadhzi has propelled himself to success. And using this simple formula, so can you. So what are you waiting for? Get hustling and get rich.